Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports here, myself Charlie. Reminder before the video starts, please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Now, this week has been relatively quiet in terms of boxing news, especially when you compare it to last week and the absolute craziness of just bam, badam, badam was just things to react to and mind-blowing announcements. But this week has been relatively quiet. But Oleksandr Usyk decided last night on Inside the Ring to slightly change that. When he announced to Max Kellerman and others on that podcast or show, whatever you want to call it, that he has a 3-fight plan before retirement, which includes the upcoming exhibition with Rico Verhoeven. In fact, I say exhibition, it's not an exhibition, but I'm not really sure what to label it, to be honest. It is a fight, but only in name, I think, to be honest, when you watch the outcome of it. Now, Usyk's plan is Verhoeven first, then the winner of Wardley Dubois on May 9th in Manchester for the WBO title, so reunifying again, and then a third fight with the man he calls Greedy Belly Tyson Fury. Now, I did put on my video last week, Usyk Verhoeven, that I thought this was going to be it. I thought we were going to be set up for Fury Usyk 3, and it certainly looks to be that way. Now, I've got to say, I love Oleksandr Usyk. I've had the pleasure of watching him in the flesh when I went to Wembley to watch him last year against Daniel Dubois. He is undoubtedly an all-time great. And I've often sort of pushed back against criticism of him when people who I've spoken to about boxing have said, oh, he's this, he's that, he does this, he does that. I've often said, no, he's great. Like, not leave him alone. He doesn't need me. He's a big boy. But you know, I don't think that's fair. But I have got to be critical of this, to be honest with you. And the reason is because, firstly, the Rico fight shouldn't count because, in my opinion, it's not a fight. It's going to be a one-sided beating where Usyk can end it when he wants. I'm sorry, he can. Verhoeven, although he's an all-time great of kickboxing, he is not a boxer. And with that in mind, I just can't see how he even gives Usyk any trouble. It's not like Ngannou, for example, who had a bit of boxing acumen, but also had a one-punch power. Verhoeven's not got that. If you look at his kickboxing record, he doesn't stop many people with his fists. So I just don't see how he troubles Usyk. Then the second fight. Now, if Wardley wins on May 9th, I would say yes, I'm happy with that. I would take that. I just can't warm to a third fight with Dubois. I went and watched the second fight last year. It was over by round 2 in terms of you could tell Dubois didn't think he could beat him. That's not a fight I want to see. Especially when you got a man who I keep banging on about, a man like Agit Kabayel waiting in the wings, who unfortunately is not in this 3-fight plan. I don't get why. I don't get why Kabayel is not in this plan. There's others as well that I'd like to see him in there with. Opetaya. If Opetaya's not going to fight Benavidez or Zerdo winner, then get him in with him, please. Like, let's get that fight made. Itauma, if that's a fight that can be made, get that on. I don't have the appetite to see him in constant trilogies when he's already 2-0 up. You know, it's boring, to be honest, and I'd rather see him in with new, fresh challenges than just keep repeating the same fights over and over again. You know, Frank Sanchez is out there as well. Guys like that, Richard Torres. Even Gassiev, a rematch of that I would take, I'd be happy with. I don't have an appetite to see him in with these Dubois and Fury again and again. I'm not a fan of it. I don't care for it, to be honest with you. And it's a shame because Usyk's a legend, but it does get repetitive after a while. And when there is challenges out there and there is young fighters out there waiting to fight, they're the fights that I'd like to see him in. I don't want to see the great man just constantly faced off against Fury and Dubois. Because this Verhoeven fight, for me, doesn't count. I mean, if he's only got 3 fights in him, then that's fine. Because he is getting on a bit. And he probably doesn't want to risk going out on his backside, let's face it. But, yeah, I was a bit disappointed when I read that. Or heard that, I should have said, and watched it. But we'll have to wait and see. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Have a great day.